Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Well, today I was going to do one on jungle warfare. Not the kind of jungle warfare that you're probably thinking about, but the kind that we have to be involved in now. But I'm going to put that off probably till tomorrow because right when I was getting ready to do that, something popped up on the news that I thought was, I won't say more important, but it's time sensitive important. Uh, and I think it's worth putting that other one off to talk about this one. It has to do with what I was going to talk about, and it's about fighting back. Um, one of the I I hate to hear the people on our side give up and talk about, well, politics, it's you just can't do anything about it. Voting doesn't matter. Being involved in politics is stupid. Uh, and just kind of curling up and hiding and saying that they're just not going to participate anymore because it doesn't work. Um, those people are wrong. I it's easier to give up and hide than it is to fight, and I think that's a lot of it. And if that offends some people, I don't care because I am tired of hearing this defeatist attitude that, well, we just have to just hide and I don't know, man. It just gets old. And then there are others who say, well, we gotta take the fight and we gotta go. I'm not going to say those things on here, but you know what I'm talking about. It's time to go to the next level. It's time to go to 3 levels above that. It's time to stop talking, and it's time to start going kinetic. Those people are crazy too. I'll just put it like that. They're nuts, and I've seen that they don't ever do anything. Okay, big talk, take a walk. I'm going to talk about something here, though, about somebody who is fighting back. And then I'll talk about jungle warfare tomorrow, the kind that we need to be fighting in our jungle. Uh, and we need to be supporting people like this. So I get on here and I see that Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. Isn't it great how many of our good representatives and uh, senators and a lot of these good bills come out of the South and Missouri, which is still the South. So Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia, remember the one who they started giving all sorts of heck to when she first got in, and they pulled her committee assignments because they knew she was going to be a powerhouse. She was gonna try to bring it to them, and she lost a lot of support on our side of people, weak people, who didn't want to be associated with her because they thought that she was going to draw fire on them, fire that they didn't want to put up with or have to deal with, so that they'd still be invited, like Rush used to say, to all the cocktail parties of the cool people, right? Of the people in power, of their friends on the other side of the aisle, who they tend to identify with more than they do their own constituents, with the mainstream media, all of that. They abandoned her, a lot of them. Well, she has shown what tough is. And I'm going to shout out also to so many of the really strong people that are taking it to them right now are the women. It's time that everybody started to support them. So, did Marjorie Taylor Greene just curl up in a little ball and roll off to the sidelines going, oh no, they said mean things about me. I guess that politics doesn't work. Yeah, she's been in there fighting ever since, and she did something now today that is exceptional. And I'm going to read this, and you all might have heard about this so far. It's a bill that she submitted to abolish the ATF. And I know there are going to be some comments down here that are going to get you bounced if you put them down here. I guarantee it. Right as soon as I see them, you're gone. And there was a, well, but it's never going to go anywhere. That's right. It's not going to go anywhere now, but it's going to serve some purposes. So don't make the comment if you want to stay on this channel, okay? And engage your brain. and start thinking. Maybe start thinking about what you can do instead of about how you can find fault with what other people do. Okay, now I get it. I know I'm a little bit incensed about this because people's weaknesses and whining and complaining just drive me crazy. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced legislation that would abolish the ATF. I get this from the Daily Caller. You can look it up yourself, but I'll post a link down here too. I'm just going to read this whole thing. It's not too long. Republican Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced legislation Thursday morning that would abolish the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives if signed into law. Now, we know that won't happen at this time. That's not the point. The Daily Caller first obtained the legislation titled the Brian A. Terry Memorial Eliminate the ATF Act. Yeah. I want to say that again just because it felt good to say it. The Brian A. Terry Memorial Eliminate the ATF Act. The bill was named after Marine and Border Patrol agent Brian Terry, who was killed in a gunfight after a group of armed men attempted to rob smugglers who were transporting drugs from Mexico to the U.S. Terry was a part of a high-ranking Border Patrol unit and was participating in the Operation Fast and Furious, which allowed federal agents. Now, you younger people who are watching, you may not be aware of this. Listen to this. Listen to this that happened under Obama, and the same thing and worse is happening under Biden. And see if you agree with it. And if you don't, which hopefully you don't, because hopefully your brain is engaged and you're actually an American, you need to start standing up, learning about this, sharing it with your friends, and fighting against this stuff. So here, listen to this. Okay, Terry was a part of a high-ranking Border Patrol unit and was participating in Operation Fast and Furious, which allowed federal agents to let known criminals buy weapons in order to track the purchases to other criminal organizations. Well, that's only half true, because part of what they were doing, they were trying to show, get evidence that guns illegally bought in the United States were being used in Mexico and then coming back here. They were trying to shut down gun ownership. It was just the current little attempt on their part to get all the Americans, all the stupid Americans who don't pay attention, to go, oh, guns are bad, we got to outlaw them, oh no. Okay, the legislation's co-sponsors include South Carolina Republican Ralph Norman, Arizona Republican Rep. Paul Gosar, and Florida Republican Rep. Matt Gaetz. Hey, what's with all you people up north? Come on, jump on, huh? Or the South and the West are doing the boatload of work on this stuff. And you know what? If this country fractures, that's pretty much how we're going to see it fracture. Okay, here is the legislation. Here's what the legislation would do according to Greene's office. It repeals all ATF regulations and guidance after August 1st, 2020, last year, to the date of enactment, rescinds hiring authority for the Bureau, and abolishes the Bureau 6 months after the date of enactment. Abolishes the Bureau. ATF and other regulatory functions are alcohol, tobacco, and other regulatory functions are transferred back to the FBI. Well, okay. Is that an improvement? We're going from the ATF, the heroes of Waco, to the FBI, the heroes of Waco and Ruby Ridge, right? Well, is that an improvement? I don't know. We got more work to do there. Third, it requires that the Bureau publish an itemized list on their website of all confiscated firearms and ammunition possessed by the Bureau, which must be sold to the federal firearms licensed dealers via public auction before the Bureau closes. Now, I would have a little difference with that. I would make them return a lot of that stuff. They've taken a lot of stuff from people who owned them legally. That ought to be returned, and it ought to be returned with a fine paid to the individual from whom the guns were taken. And then, well, I'll leave it there for now. Okay, next, proceeds from the auction are placed into a fund for the families of Border Patrol officers killed in the line of duty as a result of Operation Fast and Furious, i.e. after December 1, 2009, providing grants up to $150,000 per family affected. I don't have any problem with that. Essentially, I would expand it beyond just Border Patrol, but I'm not going to quibble about that, right? Straining at gnats. Finally, any remaining funds not used by 2032 will be redirected to a program awarding states grant funds to establish firearm safety programs. Those programs already exist. And now here she's going on to say, Joe Biden and the radical anti-gun Democrats want to unleash the ATF on law-abiding gun owners across America, attacking our God-given Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. The ATF's ongoing unconstitutional attacks on the Second Amendment must end, Green told the Daily Caller before introducing the legislation. Let me scroll down here. 12 years ago, under the direction of Hate America leftist Eric Holder, the ATF smuggled firearms to Mexican drug cartels, Operation Fast and Furious, who then used those firearms to kill American hero Border Patrol agent Brian Terry. Well, he's not the only one that got killed out of that. There's been a lot of people killed out of that, but I'm not taking away from Terry here. This can never be allowed to happen again. Joe Biden's nomination of gun grabber David Chipman, there's a guy, look him up, who wants to ban, confiscate, and destroy the most popular self-defense and hunting rifle in America, owned by millions of American patriots, is a clear indication that the ATF's war on gun owners is just beginning and is about to crank up, she continued. I'm introducing this legislation to eliminate the ATF to protect all gun owners across this country from a tyrannical, power-hungry group of bureaucrats whose goal is to destroy our Second Amendment rights, she added. Let's see if there's anything down here that needs to be additionally said. No, I think that's it. Okay, this is great. Is it going to pass? No, it's not going to pass this time. Doesn't matter. Well, it mattered. It'd be great if it did. But it doesn't matter that it's not going to pass this time. What matters is that somebody is fighting back. Now, is she going to get support from everyone that she needs to get support from? Probably not. She'll get support from people who, from congressmen who are in safe areas, who aren't on the fence. Those people who feel that siding with her might cost them their reelection, they're not going to side with her. We're going to have too many mamby-pamby, know-nothing citizens out here who don't understand the importance of this. And so what that means, I'm going to suggest several books. Hang on half a second. Well, the first one right here, in Unintended Consequences. If you haven't read that book, you need to. Do I have this camera so you can see that? Okay. The Bias Against Guns by Lott. Read that. I got a couple there by Wayne LaPierre. I'm not a big fan of his, but the books are good. Okay. There's several more. I'm going to put you on pause for half a second and get you a few books that really deal with this. Okay, I'm back. Okay, and usually, I don't cover, gun things too much in my books because that's not what they're about. And I don't cover a lot of gun issues because I'm not really a gun guy. I mean, that's not my specialty. I've carried a gun for 40, I said wrong the other day because I forgot how old I am. I have carried a gun for 46 years, okay? Okay, I'll leave it at that. But I don't talk about guns a lot because it's really not my thing. What is my thing is fighting back, about being prepared, about standing up for what's right, and fighting back against, impending tyranny. There are 3 books that I would suggest everybody read, and they're by Matt Bracken. Many of you probably have. I'll hold them up. The first one is Enemies, Foreign and Domestic. The second one is Domestic Enemies. The third one is Foreign Enemies and Traitors. I know the titles are kind of alike. These books are amazing books. You ought to all read them. Buy them. I think you can either get, if you can't get them on Amazon, I know that at least he used to, I'm sure he probably still does, have a website, and I think it's Enemies Foreign and Domestic or something like that.com. Matt Bracken. You need to buy these books and you need to read them. Bracken, I believe he was a SEAL. I don't believe he was ever in law enforcement, but for someone who was never in law enforcement, he describes federal law enforcement, some of the little inner workings and the problems and things like that. He describes it amazingly. I did work in federal law enforcement, and I can tell you that he is right on there. And if you're not aware of some of this stuff, it'll scare you. But you need to know it, and you need to start living your life according to what you learn from these books. So what I was saying, to wrap this up, Green has brought this to the table. Everybody needs to support her on this. What I'm going to be talking about in my next one about jungle warfare is how we fight back. And again, for all those who just don't have the guts, the energy, the fortitude, the imagination, whatever, to fight back, who just want to curl up in a ball and stay out of the fight, I have nothing to say to you. It wouldn't work anyway. I don't care. Don't leave your stupid comments down there because I will either jerk you or I'll slam you. I know I'm a little irritated today. I'm really a nice guy for any of you new people. I really am. But people who complain all the time and won't stand up and fight back just irritate the dickens out of me. I almost came close to saying a couple of bad words in there, okay, which I try not to. Anyway, this needs to be supported. Write to your congressman, telephone your congressman, leave messages. You're not going to get a hold of your congressperson. You'll get a hold of either an answering machine or a staffer. Tell them you want them to support Green's bill, okay? And go down. I will post the link to this down here where I usually put the links to my books and my Patreon channel and all that. And by the way, welcome to all the new people on both those channels. It's great to have you. Write them, call them, ask them, tell them that you want them to support Green's bill on this. Some will, some won't. But the thing is, they will have gotten your message. And if you live in a district that has a Democrat representative, so what? Tell them they need to hear voices from their district that say, I want you to support this. Now, there's no way in the world that they will support this, but what it can have an effect on is a softening of their position against it, okay? Because above all, they want to be reelected more than anything else in the world, more than the next breath they take. They want to be reelected, okay? These people are easy to control if you've got the levers to control them, and it's all about the votes and influence, and we need to do a better job of it. So I think that's it. Bit of a rant. I don't usually rant, but this is just we're seeing some people with guts stand up, some people in positions that are being covered by the news, and people in positions that are influential in our governance, and they need to be supported. So please do your part. Make a phone call, write a letter, write an email, do something, write a bunch of them, make a bunch of phone calls, and have the best effect you can, because this fight is not over. They have not won, and neither have we. We're in the middle of a fight. That's not the time to stop fighting. Okay? So anyway, do what you know you should, and spread this to your friends and ask them to do it too. And I'll leave it at that. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And preparing well means preparing that playing field, right? That's what this is all about. It's having our influence, spreading our influence out there, trying to have an effect on what that world of tomorrow is. Okay. You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.